All right, all right, all right. You know what that there means. It is Tuesday in Markel's voice, and it is 8:04, and it's time to get into the Scoop Radio Show for this evening. Don't know if you've been following along today, but we have got a packed show for you guys. One that I believe all three of us are very excited about. It's one that you all, I'm hoping, are excited about because we have been having some really, really good conversations over the last few weeks. So I think this is going to fall right in line with that. So get the business out of the way. We are an interactive show here at the Radio Show. We have to work on all of tonight's topics. Whether it be news, to our main topic, you can do that by commenting live on this post. You can comment, and then we'll allow those to stay on the screen so we can all join the conversation and hear what you and see what you have to say. If you would rather we hear what you have to say, we invite you to give us a call. You can do that by dialing 929-477-2304, then pressing the number 1 to let us know that you would like to share on live, and then listen for the last 4 digits of your phone number to know that it is your time. We encourage you to do that. We look forward to you doing that. So yeah, dial in. Also, we want you to share this live. We work really, really hard to provide this show for you, and we think what we're talking about, the world needs to know about. And we can only do that with your help. So please click that share button. Tell your people why you watch the Scoop and why they should too. So we appreciate it. Now you long time. All right, so we are a team here at the Scoop. None of us can do it alone, so I want to say, hey, I am Q Willis, and I want to introduce you to the team. So, Kel, how are you, sis?
Hey. Doing good. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Lit
that
with
was
the
Tuesday.
All right.
So I'm good.
Good. Win, how you doing, bro?
Oh, Lord, I'm good.
Right. Have you recouped from this weekend?
Mimi, I'm good. Yeah.
There's the panda.
Doing good. How are you? Doing good. That was Tuesday. All right. So I'm good.
Good. All right. Well, now that we are all here and ready to rock and roll, I'm going to hush and let Wayne go ahead and get into the news. What's that? What you got for us?
All right. We got news. All right. Sorry. this first bit of news hurts my heart to report.
All right, well, now that we are all here and ready to rock and roll, I'm going to hush and let
I don't know if you all saw this, but it was reported that there is a problem with my favorite entrepreneur and the Big Baller brand.
Mm-hmm.
So it's reported that Lonzo Ball has severed ties with the co-founder of Big Baller brand over concerns that the lifelong family friend has a criminal past and has not adequately accounted for the whereabouts of roughly $1.5 million from Ball's personal and business accounts. So according to ESPN, Ball told ESPN, that he believes that Alan Foster, a friend of Lonzo's father for almost a decade, who owns 16.3% of Big Baller brand, excuse me. Sorry. But the Alan Foster has reportedly again misappropriated $1.5 million of Lonzo's money. Foster serves as the business manager of all of the Ball's family's companies, including the Baller brand, which was formed by a limited liability company in 2014. It's reported that Foster developed a close friend with the Ball family beginning around 2010 when Lonzo and Foster's son became friends as seventh graders. It was Foster, Lonzo's father, LeVar Ball has said, who helped convince him to create a shoe and apparel company featuring his three basketball-playing sons, rather than allow Lonzo to sign one of the guaranteed multi-million-dollar endorsements deal that has been offered to him more established shoe companies such as Nike and Adidas. So to make this short, according to the documents, Alan Ball has gone to jail for defrauding. They say he defrauded investors out of millions of dollars. What was the amount? It was, yeah, millions of dollars.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the number. I'm sorry. 70 investors of $4 million that he did time. Of course, he was also ordered to pay $3.7 million in restitution to the victim. Lonzo said he had not known the history, and it wasn't until his financial advisors, his financial advising company, began to ask questions about where this money was at that he started asking questions, and then there were some other things that he started seeing. In terms of basically Alan and Lonzo were the only two people who could take cash out of the account. And when they kept asking Alan about where this money was going, he wouldn't give any type of receipts. Hot mess. That on top of the fact that Big Baller brand is already in trouble with the Better Business Bureau. So Alan has cut ties. LeVar has not said anything, but he's given the family first line. So what y'all think about this? Y'all tell me your thoughts. Go ahead. I'm gonna start with Q. Go ahead. Tell me your thoughts.
So, I'm not a fan of Papa Ball at all. I'm not a fan of his persona. But I think all of this is very unfortunate. I recognize what he was trying to do with him and his sons, the creation of the legacy. But I think all of this is just very unfortunate. And it also speaks to a lot of how we do business or have done business. We have a lot of entrepreneurial spirit. We've got we've got it rooted in some good stuff, but a lot of the times how we choose our people is often rooted in how long we've known each other instead of how qualified this person is to be in this position. We will ignore a lot of stuff that we know about a person because we feel they won't do us this way. But I have a hard time believing someone who's bold enough to steal $4 million plus from these folks. This is not the first time homeboys stole some money and you are just now hearing about it. This is not the first shady situation homeboy has been involved in, and they know about it. I have a really hard time believing that. I know shady folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love some shady people. And you know what I'm saying? But I'm not going into business with these shady people because I know what I'm getting into. So I just really think this is very unfortunate for the Ball legacy, especially considering all that they've had going on. Sunday dinner is going to be real tense around the Ball household for a minute. And, you know, it's just a lot. And for the boys, it's a lot of unnecessary attention, distraction. It's just a lot. It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way. I don't even follow the Balls, so that sounds crazy though. I do follow some Balls, but I don't follow those Balls. I don't follow them. But yeah, you know, because were they related?
No, they're just not related. They're just like friends of the family.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's what I was thinking. And I'm like, and we hear this story all the time. Well, I won't say all the time, but on several different occasions, you hear about someone that's really close that will dip into the pot.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you have to take a real hard look especially when you get to that level that he was pushing to get to.
Yeah.
Like, you have to be careful, and you really need to get, some other people besides those that are so close to you that they know your moves. To me, that make it easier.
We are reconnected.
Yep. Let me ask you this: as a accountant, mm-hmm. What's the proper way that this should have been set up? Because I think for me, that's part of, like, he has a financial person. Mm-hmm. He had that, so that wasn't something that was there. That's who kind of blew the whistle on this. But at the same time, like, I guess I'm always concerned, and maybe it's because I've never had this much money, but when $1.5 million comes up missing.
Right. Why we got a debit card? Why is there an ATM card where we were drawing money?
Like in the article, it talks about how he pulled out $500,000 in cash.
How you even do that?
Right.
Like, how?
To me, that's not an ATM withdrawal. I mean, you went into a bank and pulled out $500,000, which is
so that makes me think that his name was on accounts, and so you should, especially if you have somebody else besides yourself checking things, you need to have two signatures. I mean, you could have so many checks and balances in place for things like that to protect yourself. So, to me, just them being a friend, just being real lackadaisical.
Yeah,
that's probably why I was able to do it. I mean, it's messed up, but
and then I think some of it is busy. I mean, you're busy. You're playing NBA, so you got a busy schedule. You traveling. LeVar, he just had the baby.
Yeah, the baby.
He trying to be a rapper.
I don't know nothing.
Yeah. Right. I'm like, what?
Yeah, Lonzo trying to be a rapper. Yeah, but y'all don't watch the show. I'm gonna need y'all to get on the show.
I don't watch the show.
Him and his girlfriend had a baby. Then the father started the JBA league. So, the father's watching that and traveling overseas with the boys while they trying to do their thing. So it was almost like LeVar was the face pushing the people to it, but Allen was like the handling the business aspect of it. And
wasn't.
Which is normal. I mean, that's normal in a company. I mean, that's not unnormal that you have somebody, but it's just.
Yeah. And what was the name? What was the name of the guy who stole the money again? Which some of the people are asking about. Who we're talking about? We're talking about
Alan Foster.
Alan Foster and LeVar Ball.
Yeah, we're talking about Big Baller Brand. The Big Baller Brand.
Yes. So yeah, we're just talking about that scandal. So people are asking on the live.
Yeah, I'm just, I feel bad for him because, and then I'm interested to see, because they also in the article it talks about how the Lakers, so Lonzo also hurt his ankle again for like the second or third time. So now the Lakers are asking him, is it the shoes? Do you need to switch shoes? Like, is that why you keep getting hurt? So like, this is the whole big thing.
Is his own shoes hurting him?
That's what they said. They're like, look, you know, maybe this your own shoe. Maybe you need to retire the Big Baller brand shoe. Yeah, I don't know.
Wearing Jodeci boots on the basketball court.
I mean, Jodeci boots that have not been tied up.
Right. That's why you tripping.
The visual of Jodeci boots on the court.
But you're supposed to break other people's ankles, not your own. Like that's
that is how it works.
We'll see. Like I said, I want to see the man do well. So, you know, I'm definitely here for it. But so, yeah, I agree with what David said. It sounds like somebody trusted someone too much and didn't know them well. Didn't take the time. Yeah. I mean, it sounds about. I agree with David. I just think it's just, to me, it's just tough because again, this is supposed to be a family friend, and you want to do business with people who you think you know and who you can trust. But my question, I want to know, which we haven't heard yet, is like I said, did LeVar know this past before they went into business together? And if so, then my next question is then why did you trust him with the money and not have more checks and balances in place?
Right.
I can understand, okay, you know, I can still let him in the business. But if I've already known that you just got out of prison for defrauding 70 investors of $4 million, my spidey senses might be like, maybe I don't want to trust bro with the money. You can have the manufacturing, but I don't know about the money. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm proud of Lonzo. I'll say that because, you know, the big thing we always talked about was, you know, his dad was doing too much. Now Lonzo, like, look, I'm a grown man, dog. I got my own business. So I'm proud of him. He owns over 50% of the company. So we'll see what happens. So, all right, next story. So, Jordan Peele's Us has the biggest opening weekend of any original horror film in history. Jordan Peele's follow-up to his 2017 smash hit Get Out was extraordinarily high heading into its opening weekend, and the movie now has receipts to show for it. The article says, bolstered by stellar buzz from its South by Southwest premiere and strong critical reviews, Us raked in enough money in the first weekend to make it the largest domestic opening weekend ever for an original horror film. It's not a sequel or reboot or based on another existing property. It topped $70 million domestically, beating the previous record holder last year's A Quiet Place. It says the film also garnered the biggest domestic opening weekend for an original R-rated film, beating the previous record holder Ted, which opened at $54 million in 2012, and it had the second highest opening for a live action original film after Avatar in 2009, which came in just over 77 million. So let's talk. First of all, did either of you see the movie?
Not
did anybody see this movie?
No.
I'm going to.
No, I'm planning to see it this weekend.
Yeah. I'm scared.
This is one I am not a fan of horror movies, scary movies, like at all. But after Get Out, I dig the hell out of how Jordan Peele creates movies. So I am all for Us. I want to go see it. James does not want to go see it. So there's that. Looking for somebody to go. I will have to find me a buddy to go see it with. But I have already YouTube some of the spoilers because I know that his movies are that deep that I can see what's happened and still be like, what when I go see it. So I'm not even tripping about that. I wanted to kind of get an understanding of what the conversations were going to be about. And I am excited for this. This piques all of my rabbit hole spaces. Like this is going to go down all of those deep, dark, endless, never ending sentences type situations for me. I'm excited to see this movie. Because it feels like it's gonna pique all of my extra interest, and I'm here for it. I like how he produces movies, and I'm honestly hoping he doesn't keep it just in the scary realm. But and I'm a hush because I know Kel's got to go next. But I was explaining when people don't always get his type of movie creation. And I think what he's doing with Scary is it's so poetic because in a way he's showing America how we've been low-key living in our very own horror movie. And we've like psyched ourselves out to this entertainment with CG and these random ass plots and the stuff that we've been making popular, but we are legit living in our very own horror story. And he's like unveiling it in a way that mind tricks us into being like, what? And like, you can't help but have these deep conversations about real life that are legit based on what we watch in these movies. Some of the conversations that were birthed from Get Out have changed the way we see our country, period. White folks, black folks, pink people, if you breathe life, if you had a conversation about that movie, you see stuff different. So like, I'm here for this movie and him, period. Congrats to him.
Yeah, definitely congratulations, because I've liked him from the comedy days. So I thought everything was Key, is it Key? Key and Peele. And so I liked him on Comedy Central. And so I was excited when he did step into this realm. I'm also hoping he doesn't always keep it horror, but Us just looks really, really scary to me. Like, it looks scary. And y'all know I'm a scary person anyway. So I will go see it in the daytime, like high noon.
Yeah, let's go matinee, Kels. We can go together.
Right.
I've heard it's not that bad, though.
And then watch cartoons the rest of the day. I'll probably be all right.
Let's do it.
I've heard
and we can get ice cream. I'm here for it.
I've heard that it's not that bad. It's more scary than anything else. I mean, excuse me. It's more insightful than scary. Like, you got to be on your thinking game to see this movie. But I've heard that it's not that scary. Okay. And I've seen mixed reviews. Like, I've seen people say it was horrible. They wish they would have never saw it. But I also see a lot of people who are like, you know, I've heard some of my woke friends talk about you got to be a deep thinker to see this movie, and so I don't know.
I'm going for it. I'm here for it.
We'll know next week.
We're gonna go.
We'll know next week. But 70 million, I mean, I'm proud of 70 million. I can't. I'm excited about 70 million. And to see what he's doing, that he's done some good stuff. So yeah, we definitely gonna have to keep an eye on that and see where it goes. I don't think it's gonna do Black Panther numbers, but I do think that this will continue to do well. So
I think this is too segmented to do Black Panther numbers. That was a family movie. This one's got the content, keeps it out of Black Panther realm.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, because everybody's not in a scary movie, so
no.
Right. I think you gotta. Yeah, it's not a Marvel action movie.
Right, or even thinking movies. If we want to even take it out of the horror realm, everybody's not really even to that deep. Everybody don't want to go deep when they want entertainment.
Yeah.
I just want to watch a movie. I'm not trying to get
in. Yeah,
that's true. All right, well, that's what we got tonight. News. This segment has been brought to you by the Level Up Conference. Level Up Conference is the Global Drive Conference that's going to be held August 9th, 10th, and 11th in Chicago, Illinois. If you're ready to take your faith, your family, and your finance. Oh, wait a second. Let me do this. Hold on. I ain't got to do that this time. Y'all want to hear something real cool? Watch this. Watch this. Hold on.
Yes.
Global Drive Network, the group that's changing a generation while raising the conversation, wants to see your face in the face this summer from August 9th to 11th at the 2019 Level Up Conference. Level up your faith, family, and finances. Learn, connect, and grow from ordinary to extraordinary. Register at levelupchicago.com. Let's level up in the Windy City.
Yeah.
Get it going.
Come from commercial.
We gotta level up our commercial. There we go.
Yeah.
Now we can say cue commercial for the one time. Cue commercial.
Right. Yeah, word commercial.
Was up. I was like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do that. That's what we're gonna do.
Right.
All right. Well, this first song tonight, our first song tonight is we've done this before. Excuse me. It's all, but now I got to say the name this time. It's All Belongs to You by Alishima Takoa featuring Phil Tarver. Again, it's All Belongs to You. After this, we're gonna get into our hot topic. Definitely don't go anywhere. We got Cardi B up hot topic, so don't go anywhere after this. So the hot topic got with Kels after All Belongs to You by Alishima Takoa featuring Phil Tarver. Right back on the Scoop Radio Show.
In the morning when I rise and the sunlight shines in the sky. Oh, how beautiful, wonderful, marvelous is the earth and everything inside of it. Lord, all creation is yours. Every man, woman, boy, and girl. All the sounds of the air. All the houses in the land. All belong to you. Yes, I belong to you. Yes, yes. In the nighttime when I sleep and your pieces rest on me. When you spoke life into the earth and breathe life into my soul, Lord, all creation is yours. Every man, woman, boy, and girl. All the sound of the air, all the houses and the land, all belong to you. Yes, I belong to you. Yes, I belong to you. Oh, oh. All creation is yours. It's yours. Every man, woman, and girl. All the sound of the air. All the houses in the land. All belong to you. And I belong to you. All belong to you. All belong to you. Yes, I belong to you. Yes, I belong to you. All belong to you. All belong to you. The earth is yours. Yes, I belong to you. I belong to you. I belong to you. All creation is yours. Yes, I belong to you. Everything is yours. Oh.
Bible says the earth is the Lord's, the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Come on and worship. Whoa. 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 Somebody help me say, boy. Whoa. Whoa. Raise your worship and say, oh.
Yeah, is that the end?
Yeah.
That's it.
I was over. We had to go ahead and get our worship on before the
Right.
hot topic tonight because we know it is sizzling, honey. So we had a couple of posts in Scoop Nation today, which is our Facebook group. So search it and join if you dare. And so we had some conversations going on about Cardi B. And I am a Cardi B fan, so this kind of hurt my heart. So it says, surviving Cardi B, that's the hashtag, first victim to speak out about being drugged, raped, and robbed by Cardi B. So let me give you the backstory. What happened is an old video, an old live that Cardi did. I think people were saying 3 years ago.
Yeah, that's what she said in her little response. Yeah.
Okay. She was on the video talking about how she does, takes care of herself and is self-made, and that she was out there in the street. And so she goes on to mention that she would drug and rape dudes and rob them. And apparently victim number one has come to the light. So before we get into comments on the post, I'm gonna go to Winfred first. And just because you are a man, and I just want to see what your viewpoint is. Since men are the victim.
So what are my view on what?
On Cardi, and this victim coming out. How do you think it's gonna play out?
Oh, I don't think anything's gonna happen. I think that Cardi is nothing's gonna happen. I think a bunch of other people are gonna come forward and say how they, and say, I think she did the same to me. I think she did the same. I mean, we're gonna get a week, 3 or 4 days of that, and it'll go away. I don't think there's a man alive who is going to press charges. I think that at this point, the worst that's going to happen is she's going to get some civil lawsuits and have to pay out some money to dudes who say she did this. Because according to to New York, the state of New York, it's still within the time limits where she could be sued. So I think that's the worst that's gonna happen. Okay. Dudes aren't gonna be like, I felt Cardi B raped me. Like, dude's not about to do that.
They're not gonna start a Me Too.
Not for the sake of being mad about it. No, it's like, man, excuse my language, but they're gonna be like, I smashed Cardi B. That's about it.
What you think, Q? Same question.
Yeah, I agree with Wynn. I don't think anything is going to really come of this. I think there's just going to create a lot of argument between supporters and non-supporters. It's already done that, to be honest with you. I was talking with Dre, and I think this will be the creation of the Them Too movement. It's kind of it's the opposite of the Me Too, because that gets to be ours as far as women are concerned. And men the whole time have been saying, well, y'all do it too. And we all like, okay, well, where they at though? So there's one woman who came out, but as far as brown people are concerned, she didn't really register with us. We don't identify with her. But right now, Cardi B is hot. She's the new thing. Her whole way of getting here is questionable for people. Like, this in itself, some folks, like, she's so many people's guilty pleasure based upon how she got here. Right. And I mean, like, they admit it. And like, they have this look of complete bliss on their faces, even when they share that they love her. Like, I love her. Like, it's some deep, it's crazy, the hold that she's got on people right now. It's her time. So in a way, we always talk about how, when we get into the limelight, here they come. Here we are. You know what I'm saying? So we can't even without downgrading or reducing what she's done or what we're discussing here, we cannot glaze over the timeline of this happening. Nobody cared when this was alive and she was just a little random chick, hood chick from on Love and Hip Hop that no one thought we were going to see anymore. Now she's breaking charts and headlining shows. Now it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So like, you know, and I'm still happy with the whole how I feel about this. I ain't even gonna front. I have no solid standing on this yet because I'm in my feelings about this.
I just think that, I mean, and you're absolutely right. When people get to a certain level, we joke about it, like, you know, you made it when we joke about things like this. So people probably went digging for something. I'm sure people dig all the time. That's why this came up in her little memories.
Right. Because it was alive. Those disappear. Those disappear.
It's somebody that found it. My take is I'm very disappointed. But she's not the first person that I've heard done this. Now I haven't heard women talk about drugging per se, but I know women who pick up tricks in the club and take them back to the hotel room and rob them. So that's something that does happen when you're in the street life. I mean, she talks about being in the game. So bloody shoes, she's not talking about Louis Vuitton.
Not talking about red bottoms.
She's not talking about red bottoms. Okay. So, you know, she's done some stuff now. If somebody comes forward and they do press charges, I do believe that she should be treated like any other drug and rapist.
That's another. Okay, so if are we treating her as a rapist? I mean, because if you really look at it, she could be charged from sexual assault to theft. I mean, there's more than just one charge here that she could possibly, and those, you know, carry some time if, you know, if they really wanted to, which is, again, I don't think anybody really wants to see her go to jail. I don't think, like I said, I would be surprised if any man actually presses charges against.
Yeah, because the guy that came forward already said he don't want to press charges. He just want to move on with his life. Why you bring it up?
Right. That's exactly what I said.
I agree.
That's exactly what I said. If you are going to put your face on this movement and say, yes, it happened to me, but I'm cool though, then stay cool. Sit down somewhere. Like what was the point of that? Because if anything, it does not do anything for those people she did violate that may really want to come forward and say something. I had this discussion with my husband as we were talking about this on the way home because he had heard a little bit about it, but he hadn't really paid much attention to it. And he said, no man is going to say, he said the same thing Gwen said, no man is going to say she did that. And I told him, I said, but I don't know if men really understand what it would do for the movement as a whole if you guys did say something.
Right.
Women don't have a problem with y'all saying it happened to me. Other men have a problem with that. Do you know how many rapists feel like, yes, somebody say it happens to us than the deserving women who just shouldn't have been there wearing the skirt at the wrong time? Like, if a man said, yes, I was violated too. I wasn't in the wrong place at the wrong time. Or hell, maybe I was having a good time, which I should be able to do. And she took advantage of me. Boom. Like that would change the game. But no. Y'all
I don't want to hear no more like one comment from a guy that says, well, Bill Cosby didn't get a chance to run off on the plug, crucify her. But if you won't come forward, then that's your own fault.
Yep.
Y'all want to be the manly man, go on and press charges. You might get you a couple of dollars or something. I don't know. But you can't blame that on society if everybody is leaning towards the fact that, you know, men are not going to come forward. Another comment.
I'm not saying this. I don't think we're blaming it on society. I'm saying that as a man, I don't think that it's necessarily that men have a problem with other men who do it. I think that it is culturally, to us, So let me give it. So culturally, to us, this is a woman. So why are you upset that this happened to a woman? Now, if we look at it from like a Terry Crews standpoint, when it was another man, that was a problem for us.
Oh, that's
like
gay.
you were, because right, exactly. Because culturally, now all of our homophobia is rising up. Whereas when it comes to a woman, it's like, but you got a chance to smash Cardi B. Like the only thing you should be mad about was that you was drugged, and according to his article, he doesn't remember it, and you lost you lost $850.
Mm-hmm.
So another comment from a guy that says, no different than any other hustler or rapper who spoke about robbing or selling drugs. So I thought that was a very good point.
That's a lot of my conflict with this, honestly. Yeah. I love rap music, and like I feel real hypocritical coming down on her for saying this in a moment of not even glorifying it. She was like desperate and flashing and emotional going in because she's worked for this and someone is trying to say you haven't earned your spot. She wasn't on a track going in about all the dudes that she done went, like that wasn't what this was. But yeah. I cannot say I do not have some of the glorifying womanizing men in my playlist and will bang them like hardcore. So for me, it was hard. That's why I said I don't really have I felt some type of way about even my stances regarding other people in this situation, because now I feel vested in it because I like her. I wasn't ever really connected to R. Kelly. Couldn't really care less about Bill Cosby. My mama been telling me about him since I was a little video girl. You know what I'm saying? So that never really registered with me. But Cardi, I rock with Cardi. I identify with her, so to speak. So for this one was hard for me. And I love rap music. And I get that this is a part of the culture, that if you want to take this specific situation from it and say, oh, look at this, it's so terrible in comparison to now what's popular as Me Too. You can't separate this from the culture that created Cardi. Like she is one of many, many women. One woman amongst many, many men who have made their whole careers off of this. So in my mind, and now as me waking up and growing as a woman, maturing and all of that, I understand that even that may not have been a positive for me to be loving and becoming a part of that culture, that part of the culture. But I can't deny that that is very much a part of the music that I love. And I really have a hard time going, oh, Cardi, like to that degree, because I get it. You know what I mean? I get that part of it. So, this one has me hushing. I ain't got much to say on this. Like, I'm just like,
So, let me ask you, Kels, and you come back to you. So if she is charged, let's just say, which I doubt, dude comes back and says, I'm gonna press charges, or a man comes back and press charges. Would culturally men or women see this as, maybe, if let's say 30, 40 people come out and do this, 40, 50 people come out and say, yeah, this happened to me too. Mm-hmm. Would the response, would you look at this and say, this is a problem and she needs to go to jail, and be able to divorce the music from the woman? Or would we similarly say, this is the culture, this is the game, this is the culture of the sex industry. Mm-hmm. She was doing what she had to do at the moment to get ahead. Like, would there be a rationale behind it?
I mean, I'm already on the stance as much as I like Cardi, and I think after coming to terms with wanting to disassociate or have my own little stance on those who harm others, I think I would probably have a hard time of listening to her music again if, multiple people started coming out and saying it. I already said I felt really bad. I was very disappointed when I saw that the video was real, because I, didn't know for sure what had happened. But then when I got to listen to the video, I was very disappointed. So I don't know if I would like bash her just all out, but I think I would probably listen to her music less, if at all. Yeah. If it does blow into something more. Some of the comments and responses she's had makes me think that she is regretful. But again, I say it all the time. All this being real ain't always cracked up to be. You ain't gotta be that real.
Yep. Yep. I pretty much agree with Kels. Win. I know you were saying I'm next, but yeah, I agree with Kels. I would hate it because like my playlist is lit right now with all the music that she is all over. Like real talk, my work playlist goes hard. But I can't be the woman that I say that I am and the life that I'm trying to lead and the example I'm trying to be for my son and daughters and say that, oh, but I like her though. You know what I mean? And I can't feel some type of way about anybody who still continues to listen to R. Kelly or support Bill Cosby or whatever we're going to figure out with Michael Jackson when it's all said and done. However you seem to fall, how folks fall on that side. Like, yeah, I can't say those things and then say, but I like her though. I can't be that exception just because it suits me. So I'm really hoping that, we're able to move on. This can be what it is. Like we said earlier, we talk about it and the little fold, this was me that came out, kind of fades into the darkness. And we say, okay, bro, we see your face now. Let's go. And we move on with life. But if it did grow like that, I mean, Cardi B will be Cardi Ben, and she will. I hope she keeps her money is together. I hope her accountant had it together. So when she gets to doing what she got to do, she'll have some money for her and Lil Culture, and they'll be all right. I hope Offset is planned for the Offset if that's the case. Because
Dwayne says this is how we change the culture. We get predators, male, females out. With that being said, I don't think the dynamic of her crime is the same.
I thought she had more robbery issues than she had sexual assault or rape. The majority of the business, or if anything, I think there will have a harder time proving that is what happened as opposed to the Bill Cosby, R. Kelly situations. For the fact that those people say they weren't there to have sex. That was never a part of the plan for the women with R. Kelly, or I don't know. It's still fuzzy with R. Kelly. We don't know. The fact they age rules all of him out of there. I'm gonna just take him out of the equation. We're gonna talk about Bill Cosby because that's the most parallel. But like, they did not have that plan. Cardi was a stripper. Back in those days, the most opportunity you were gonna meet her was stripping. If you stripping, drinking in the club, the connection is if you go into the hotel after, it ain't the chit chat. So if after then you get drugged and robbed within the hotel room with the stripper, it looks bad. So the lawyer, if she uses them coins to get the right team, that could be a hard sell for the sexual assault side of that. Robbery, hook, line, and sinker, she got it. But sexual assault or rape is going to be a hard case to prove. Yeah. Now flip it and have it be a male rapper with a drunk chick in a room after a concert, and everyone's gonna say, "Why were you there?" Same thing.
Yeah, Mike Tyson was, but I think the difference in this instance is she already. We have it on video that she said that she admitted it.
Right.
So that's gonna be
right. Yeah, and she said that she drugged and robbed.
Mm-hmm.
So really, I don't even know how rape got into it. And I'm like, how did that even get into the equation?
Because he said he found the used condom.
The condom. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, why if she drugged them and robbed them, why would she even have to have sex with them? I don't know if I believe it.
I mean, she said, well, I don't know if she said she had sex with him.
She didn't say that though. He said that. And we took that and morphed it.
I just think, maybe the used condom part there was
if you drug a man, is he really gonna be? I mean,
and he said he was intoxicated at the club. They were already drinking at the club. So even then, the lawyer could say, did he just not know his limits? Did that when he blacked out, when they finally got to the room, were you really drugged? How do you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, we've seen them pick women apart.
Oh yeah.
For these
but her saying that she drugged them. That's. But
that's it.
Why would
I'm
you
only speaking to the rape. I'm only speaking to the rape part of it. I don't that drugging and robbing. She said that. Yeah.
How would you rape a dude if you drug him? Like I got.
What you mean?
It still can get up depending on the drug and the dude.
Well, I guess. Oh, okay. Well,
I'm just saying it depends. Molly, X, those types of things that have you gone and out of yourself. Blacked out is in all kinds of different forms. And depending on who you talking to, your version of I'm out is told, you know what I'm saying? So like it just, and drugs react different to all types of folks. But as far as women can get wet while out and men can get hard while out. So it's just one of those things. If you're arousing that portion of your body, it can absolutely happen.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking about just the way her personality is. Why would she think she need to jump on something if she done robbed them?
If the robbing was happening, if that was the goal. Lots
we
of
have
questions.
Comments. Let's see. Now there was a good comment that Dwayne made about if entertainers are talented enough, do we forgive them? And just to answer that, I don't want to say we have used that argument, but I don't want to say that it's really totally talent that we're attached to. I think it's more that we're attached to the feelings that the music gives us and the memories that we have with said music that attaches us as entertainers. Because there's talented people who don't make it. So I don't think it's just like, oh my God, they're just that talented. But that is an argument that people think should mask any ill feelings. Yeah. For people with talent. Yeah. I just think this connection is deeper than talent. Cardi has, with her being so real, that's something that attracted a lot of us to her. Just thinking that her confidence helps us to find our own confidence. You know,
I agree.
We grew to those songs and have a good time because she said some real things in there that we probably wouldn't say. Like, I'm not gonna say, if I see you, I don't speak, that means I don't F with you. But that's the truth.
Right. Yeah.
I can definitely relate to the statement. But very good point. Very good point, Dwayne. Do you think, this is to both of y'all, do you think that there are other female entertainers out there who have done some other things that may pop up now?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Yes. I think it's, I don't follow a lot of the other genres of music that much, but I know for sure hip hop and R&B have all kinds of ish sprinkled through that. Like we listen to our lyrics. Like, listen, if you listen to the lyrics, that's not poetry. That's not just coming out of the air. You know what I'm saying? That comes from somewhere. And we have totally bought into you got to do a little bit to get a little far, to get somewhere. We are totally quid pro quo in our culture, in our music, our entertainment cultures. We've been preyed upon in that way, men, women alike. And I think it's going to get, the music has already started to shift as far as content. And the fact that we have so many of our artists moving into the independent spaces, I think is going to offer more space for more artists to say why. For the longest time, they've been talking about the money aspect of it. I think a lot of our lost R&B singers, our girls that we came up with, them singles, the cassette tapes that we had one of and never saw again, we gonna find out why we never heard from some of these women again. Where morals beat out fame. Those types of things. When what mama told me about myself beat out what homeboy music producer told me about myself. And we're going to start to hear that. That's what I think. But yeah, this isn't the end at all.
Because I was like, I'm just trying to think of, like, okay, I guess, for example, Nicki Minaj, which is like her nemesis. And we've heard Nicki, she's talked really bad. There was some issues with her and how she treats the men in her life and stuff like that before, but it seemed like we talked about it for a little bit and then it got real hush. So I'm wondering if even things like that just will start a trend of, holding women more accountable. So
no,
we should.
No.
I hope so.
You don't think so?
Not by other men, no.
Mm.
Men are, I'm telling you, men are not going to, in droves, report that they were raped or by a famous person. Now,
But
I mean,
rape
if
is robbed. I think we're just throwing rape in there.
it's a robbery, we're not going to talk about. No, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, I got robbed by a girl.
You're not
That's
gonna
the way
say you were victimized at all by a woman. That's the issue.
That's the problem. Dudes in the whole I'm gonna be like, I got robbed by a girl. That's how other dudes will, how it's gonna cut. It sounds to other men, and because of that stigma, oh, you the dude that got robbed by an old girl. It's like when you were a kid. If you got a boy that got beat up by a girl, you got made fun of. It's the same concept.
Okay, I get it. I get it.
You got beat up by a girl.
I get it and I don't, but I'm gonna hush about it because we out of time. I get it, but I don't. I'm not gonna let that just be that. But for the time on the conversation, I'm gonna let it be that. That's a real weak sauce ass reason to allow it to continue to happen and then bitch about it at every opportunity.
I don't want to hear no remarks about women being victims if men don't. Y'all don't want to be the victim, but then want to be mad when somebody else is.
So, I don't think it's that we don't want to be. I think that we don't want to look weak.
Okay, and that's
so
gonna be.
I think we can say, and this is part of the conversation that we're going to have in the next hour.
Right.
But it's we don't want to look like we're weak. We don't want to look like we weren't in control. We don't want to look like we're not a man, because men don't get beat up by girls unless she's, China from WWE. You know what I mean? Like, if she was somebody, it's like, oh, okay. But you're not supposed to get done by little Cardi B.
Mm-hmm.
That's just, again, I'm not suggesting it's right. I'm just saying that that's.
We hear you, but again, I don't want to see no more crying about women being victims when men won't stand up.
Yep.
Because you should use that strength for some emotional stuff sometimes. Anywho, I would remind you that sometimes it's brought by Curvy Kitten Clothing. Curvy Kitten is more than a clothing line. It's a movement to realize that loving all of our curves, no matter what size, is the foundation for loving each other. Get you some Curvy Kitten at www.curvykittens.com. Use code KKNEW for a 10% discount. And we have some music on this good Tuesday. The next song is Jumping In by Josh James and J Dunn The Wash.
Jumping in, I don't care, girl, in your face. We can all win. Jump on in, jumping in, jumping in. When I be back, we gon' jump again. Jumping in, jumping in. Can I see, girl, I'm diving in. Head first, jumping with the wind. Jumping in, I'm jumping in. I don't care, girl, in your face. We can all win. Jump on in, jumping in, jumping in. When I be back, we gon' jump again. Jumping in, going live, and Mr. Party like 9 to 5. Got these brown sets going live. Ain't got no time to shut the drive. In overdrive, so I won't quit. I'm a dog like Mike Vick. Say the gun right there, shit. I'm done matter with the hit stick. Run the game, that's real shit. Run the game, that's real spit. Trying to got me like real lit. I pop the molly up in this bit. Hold up. With my shit, girl, fine, but you ain't it. Got my dogs and do them all. Let's have a party in this bitch. This Will Smith, I like to switch.
Uh-oh.
All right.
And pause.
We done jumped right on in. All right.
And jumped out the jam. Oh, we're so silly.
Well,
there's what you call an exaggerated pause for the cause.
yeah. Beam me up, Scotty.
That's me.
What in the world?
I'm scary of it.
What in the world?
Next.
Right. Next segment.
I was like, retardation. That was weird.
Are we good?
I think so.
Okay. We gonna see. All right. Well, we think that was supposed to have been jumping in by Josh and the crew. We'll try that again later on. We want to see what was up with that. But never mind. That's just the universe giving us a couple minutes back so we can go on and get into this good topic on this evening. Tonight we are chatting about manhood and does it need a new spokesperson? And what we wanted to talk about when we came up with this title, we wanted to discuss has manhood really changed? We do a lot of discussion about what a man is, what a man's supposed to be, what he's supposed to look like, what he's supposed to act like. And it sounds like it's so new and different. We've got so many conversations about how this is so new. And I wondered, is the face of manhood changing, or are we now highlighting different levels of manhood? So I wanted to talk about that. And I think we've all been asking questions today. When I say all, I mean the three of us. We've been asking different questions regarding what manhood looks like, what manhood was, as you know, I've been asking the men specifically what manhood looked like to them growing up, what it's looked like to them now as grown men, now that they're mentoring their fathers, their community leaders, et cetera, et cetera. Just trying to get some better understanding from a woman's perspective. I feel I know a lot about a little of everything. And I often feel, because I'm connected to a lot of men, that I know a lot about men. But in my conversations with some very forward-thinking men, I've learned some things. So I thought it was a good time for us to have that kind of conversation. So that is why we're here tonight. And I want to go ahead and get into it. Wynn, I'm going to come to you first because you are obviously the man on the panel. And shocker, you being the man on the panel. I want to know what your thoughts are as far as manhood and where we are with it now. Is manhood changing? Is the face of it changing, or are we just seeing a different side of it now?
Okay.
I don't think it's changing.
You don't? Okay. Where is that coming from?
I think that manhood, I don't know what that is. Hold on. Let me see something. Sorry. So I think that better.
A little bit. Think so.
So I think that manhood is not changing, but I think what we're doing is we're allowing manhood to be expanded and part because we realize that some of the things that we think manhood are impossible to maintain at high levels for long periods of time. And I think we're also starting to see some of the damage that it brings.
Yeah.
And truthfully, I think a lot of it has to do with what we're not. The one thing that we don't talk a lot about is that we're starting to see, even though we still see, I think it's 70% of Black children are born into homes where there's just one parent. We start seeing studies that are showing that fathers are engaging more with their children.
Mm-hmm.
I think seeing up close a male figure changes our perspective because now now that there's some real life examples that you get to see instead of what you see on TV, instead of what you think manhood is, what you're told manhood is, but you actually get to see it and hear it, and taste it and touch it and have the discussion that men have that we need to help with.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I like that. I'm gonna chew on that. Kels, what do you think?
What was the question again?
Okay, how do you feel that manhood, the perception or the view of manhood is changing? Or has it always been this way? How do you feel about manhood right now?
I don't think the perception of manhood is changing per se.
Mm-hmm.
I think people are trying to make it change. I think it's a well, for lack of a better term, I think some of it comes from this hatred of things that are up to the standard masculine persona. It began, people use it as a way to me, make others feel bad about, how they are if they're not up to standard. So I don't think the standard has changed. I think that the world has just changed to where people want to have something to complain about. So because there's there's things like drag queen is not as taboo as it used to be. It's flattered now. We see the actors who have dressed like women and had played female characters are kind of blown up. We even see the YouTube stars and the Facebook stars that have a female persona that they're portraying, and it's real popular and it's funny. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't change my view of what I think a man should be, because I laugh at a man making a spoof about a woman.
Right.
So no, I don't think it's changed. I think it's just people in the way we use certain things just to be mad. I think it's something else that people have just blown out of proportion.
Mm-hmm. Those very, very fair points and perspectives on that. I think I went to your point with what you said regarding it's almost like it's like we're getting to see a different side of it, so to speak, is what I kind of got from that. We're being able to, for so long it had been, this was the set list of what men do. And now, because we're changing, our culture's changing, we've got more. There have been men who have been playing these roles in these positions for a long time, but just because it wasn't standard, they weren't able to be highlighted. I think they weren't able to say, yes, this is what men do also, because that wasn't considered manly. Now, because out of necessity, and because sometimes, at some point, the product gets to show for how we got here. You know what I'm saying? And you can't always say it's your mama when your daddy might have been the one that was there doing homework and making sure dinner was on the table and all those things. And that's how said person got to be how awesome and this, that, and the third thing. And they can still be very much a man, and they did something that was not within the realm of what manhood used to look like. So I that's what I got from what you said, and I would agree with that. I think we are no longer having to choose this type of man to be considered covered by a man. And I think in some ways, like what Kel says, is giving us something to argue about because it's ruling some men out. And now it's you can still be popular, you can still be chose as a man and not be the brawny big guy that's fighting and knocking heads up against the wall. And you might find out that this chick doesn't like that dude at all and thinks, oh boy, is much more masculine or manly because he doesn't have to do that. Like there's been a shift of what's desirable from men and women. I mean, from women regarding manhood. And I think that's caused a different type of conversation because we can't deny that as much as manhood is revolves around men, a lot of what you all do, our previous conversation proves that a lot of the moves that men make are based on how women perceive them to the point of being victimized. So I can't really get behind a man telling me, well, women can't tell a man what being a man is or how to be a man or any of those things, because you will completely allow you, the collective man, will completely allow you to be victimized to avoid appearing weaker to a woman. Or you will change everything about yourself to fit a place for a woman to say, yes, I like that. And that's just what we've seen. Women do it too. So this is in no way me saying only men do this. I'm saying we do it. Let's just own that in this.
I think that
And correct me if I'm wrong, because if I could be very wrong.
I think that when we say a woman can't tell a man how to be a man, that's different. That's different from, because there are a lot of things that we do to appear, I'll use the word competent, whatever, for a woman.
Okay.
That's true. That's facts. However, the dude who, the stay-at-home dad, the guy, whatever, is still, by majority culture, still seen as less of a man, or less of a, I'm not gonna say, I can say less of a man in some instances, right, or not even less of a man, or not as manly as dude who know how to go out and fix his own carburetor and change his own spark plugs and like that dude, that's different. It's just different, and that's more so for other men. So there's like a pecking order amongst men.
Okay.
And then there's also this thing that we do for women. So it's like two different conversations that we're having. So there is a part of. So I think there's two separate things that we're facing. The men facing that regard. So yeah, at home you might be cool with it and we might be comfortable with it, but I can guarantee you, most dudes ain't out having, unless he's around other dudes who are doing the same thing, having those discussions about what you done while you at the crib during the day.
What was that last part?
I said you're not sitting at the house talking with other dudes unless those men do the same thing, unless they're stay-at-home dads or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You're not sitting around with your other guy friends like, yeah, man, I made a bomb casserole last night. Like,
really? So there's not really a place for the stay-at-home dad to brag about his stay-at-home dadness amongst the non-stay-at-home dad friends?
Not really.
Oh, that sucks. So like they got to get a mom group to feel celebrated for being a good dad? Like that sucks.
In a domestic capacity, in majority culture, like in majority male, yes.
Wow.
Now, if it's for a time period, like say you you lose your job and and this is what you're doing until you find, that's fine. But if that is your role in the family, in a majority setting, most guys will be looking at you like, you soft, you weak, you.
Wow.
And that's just, again, that's why I say there are some things that are changing, but not everything.
I would feel that father I would feel that brother amongst the other men would be such a valuable resource. Like to have, like, I don't know, but that's me and my woman mind. And I wonder, is that really a detriment, or is that something like, I just really wonder how our isms that we put amongst ourselves, and this is women too, but we're talking about fellas tonight. I just really wonder how much of the stress and the pressure that Black men specifically, because that's our primary audience, but men in general, let's just go ahead and broaden it out there. A lot of the pressure that y'all feel is so self-inflicted, and then it becomes not self-inflicted to the point where you're doing it to yourself. But if you've got a group, your core telling you this is amazing, we appreciate you for this, without you doing this thing we would not function, but then you go out into a group of your peers and then that's not celebrated, I can only imagine how that makes y'all feel. You know what I'm saying? Like, that in itself uncovers a lot that I'll be chewing on for days now. To know that something that valuable amongst a group of men is considered as non-valuable, for lack of a more profound word, like invaluable. That's just crazy to me.
Yeah, and I think what we do is there are certain things that we like. So in any area, so even in like a group of pastors, for example, like pastors, people who love God and supposed to be out serving God's people. That's your primary objective. When we get together, is how many members you got? How many people joined your church last week? What the offering going up? Like, we're all of these measures. These are the types of measures that we are using to determine how good you are performing as a man. When you talk to did you get a raise this year? Did you get a promotion this year? Like, we ain't sitting around like, in general. Now, there are some conversations like this weekend, when I was with Terry, like we had conversations about, how's your family doing? How your kids doing? Like, we can do that, but we're not at home. We're not like domestic things that we would consider traditional women's roles in a home or in a family. We don't see that as a whole. We don't see that in
I just, before I forget, like when you were saying that, it just made me think about that. I am, blessed in the sense to have men in my family who they may sit around and talk about how they got a spot out. And my brother-in-law, father, and my brother are some of the most masculine men I know. But they'll talk about grilling.
Yeah, we talk about grilling.
Well, yeah, everybody talk about grilling, but like my brother cooks too. So he's talking about recipes. He's telling us how to keep our microwaves clean, what to mix these herbs and juices together to, get a spot out get your pan right, get a spot out the rug. And it's not a big, it's not a big deal. So I was just thinking if it was one of their friends amongst them talking about stuff like around the house.
Is he telling you all as ladies that, or is he telling other dudes this?
No, I'm saying I see my brother and my brother-in-law have conversations like that.
Amongst each other.
Sure,
that's safe.
That's family. It's safe because it's family?
Yeah. But you ain't at Hooters talking about it, watching the game.
I mean, yeah, I can do it.
I struggle with this so much. I just really, I just
I mean, so
full
okay.
disclosure and transparency, because like I love one of the things that I've learned to love about men is how unafraid men are in so many instances, and how willing they are to stand up when nobody else is standing, you know, and all of these things, and will fight to the death for their family. But then when it comes to sharing that and helping your brethren become that fierce warrior, like that just blows my mind. And then to know that this is what leads us. This ideal or this set is what leads us. And then we're supposed to not say anything or speak into how this happens, when it does very much affect us as women. Like, I know we have this, and I'm learning, and I want to say that I struggle with this, but I am learning. But as women, it's really hard. And for women who love men and want to see men be better, Kels, I know you are this way because we've had conversations about our men. Like this is just hard for me to know that, knowing how important this is even to men and our children and the future and all of these things, and making sure that everything is aligned the way it's supposed to be. But then we won't have the conversations, even like really in private, those where they should happen, where you could be open and say, bruh, I'm sucking at this conversation stuff with my son. He is messing up and I cannot get him to get it together. Like, those are the conversations that I think men could be having with each other. And it's not, because it's not cool. Like, it's women's work. But
So
like,
using your example, we can talk about my son. I'm struggling with this with my sons, and we can talk about that. I'm referring to traditional domestic things that are not viewed as manly. Cooking, cleaning, things that are seen as feminine. We don't talk about it, and that's not seen as masculine, warrior, esque, which is not healthy. I don't think it's healthy, but I'm just saying that's just
how it is. Okay, so how do we change it? So instead of harping on that's how it is, how can men among men shift that, and how can we as women help with that? Or do we have a place in that? Is our best thing to do is to hush and move out of the way?
Let me read these comments because some of them speak.
Okay.
So James says, to me, manhood doesn't need to change. It needs to be reinforced by being seen a lot more other men in wigs and dresses, all these skinny jean dudes. I mean, we see the well-dressed brothers, but in very small segments. He also says that it doesn't mean that a stay-at-home dad doesn't know how to do them things, because that's almost saying my girl makes more money with me. And Winfrey don't, for the way the workforce is, a lot of parents work from home to be with their kids more. That's true. My dad was like that for most of my life, so that's definitely true. I agree with James's point that it has to be. We need to reinforce what manhood really is. And you guys on the post saw me right, that I think that a lot of things that I learned are things that things that I think I agree with. I agree that I was taught men cover their responsibility. So if you have a responsibility, no matter what, you take care of it. That a man's role is to lead his family, and then of course obviously having to evolve as to what leadership looks like, but you still lead your family. That so all of those, the things that I learned, again, I think are proper masculine things. But it wasn't until later that I saw, and again, a lot of that had to do with the roles that it played. My dad cooked. Like, I saw him clean, but it wasn't a whole lot of cooking, until later on. Now my dad cooks he's the cook of the family, of their family. So it's just, again, a lot of that, it's just things that I think we have to continue to reinforce, to say that it is okay for you as a man to cook. As a matter of fact, you should want to learn how to cook and we have like so Michelle. This is how we have to position cooking. If you want to see brothers get excited about cooking, tell them that if you cook for your wife, you got a lot of easy chance to get some.
We say that, and then we call them wimp. Then the brothers call them wimp or call them a simp.
It's like, okay, that made sense. Oh, you cook. Oh, that means you probably should have got you some that night because you did that. No, that was a part of what you do as a husband. Like you, as a husband, part of your responsibility is to help cook and clean at the house.
I don't necessarily co-sign connected it to sex, even though that starts a whole other thing.
I would co-sign what I'm saying. That's what we have, the language we have to use in those conversations. I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying what it is.
Okay, I'll chew on that. I can accept that as that answer. I'll chew on it.
How do we change it?
Yeah. What can we do? What can women do?
I think that women should continue to enforce not so much your individual need for it, but its benefit to our health.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing healthy about trying to, every man wanting to be this prototypical alpha male. That's not healthy. I think encouraging us to be, again, healthy, whole people. And it's okay to, to not feel good. It doesn't, to not use our words against us, to not, when we have weak moments or weak days, to not make it seem like, we're less than. I think women could help us by making it, I can make it real brief. The same way things that you give to your son, give to your husband. Because to your son, you give unconditional support, unconditional love, unconditional affirmation. But in a lot of, not you, but in general, but to your husband or to your man, there are conditions, a lot of conditions that are put on us. So I think, and I know they're like, it's different. It's different. I get it. But that's really what we need.
So I have a question to that part right there. And Kels, then I'm gonna ask you a question, especially speaking to what you just said about the son's part. Do you think that men may miss the reprimand that comes with mothering a son simply because you see sons as childlike and deserving of reprimand, but as an adult feel that once you become a man, you've grown out of that reprimand area or that correction space? Because in one side to say, give us that unconditional, I don't think wives or spouses ever stop loving their spouses when they don't behave in a way that they find pleasing. You can still not like a thing and still love a person and not like the thing that they've done. Because me as a mom, Adrian can piss me off. And I'm not fooling with Adrian for a few days, but I still love the hell out of him. And I'm going to be there. I'm going to show up. I might be sitting in the corner like this, pissed off that I'm there, but I'm going to be there. You know what I'm saying? So that he doesn't question my love for him just because I'm pissed off. But if I were to do that for my husband, it would be World War III if I'm sitting at a show and I'm sitting in the corner visibly pissed off at the fact that he has done whatever he did that deserves me to be physically pissed off in this space, but I'm here and I'm supporting. So I'm wondering, where does that lie? Because it's one thing to say that's what you want, but then say, but I'm not your son, don't mother me, I don't need no mama. Well, how do we deal with that?
So the difference
is, Kels, I promise I'm coming next.
there's definitely, I don't think we're against accountability. Okay. But I think that, because I've said it several times to people too, like, I'm not your son, don't talk to me like that. I've said it. I think there's a difference between in holding us accountable. Number one, there's a difference between the way you hold us accountable. Sometimes it's the tone in your voice. Mm-hmm. So that's sometimes. The other part of that is we don't miss the accountability, but we see the amount of love that is given after the accountability is had. So you could, spank them, get mad at them, and turn around and be all over. Come here, this is my baby. Like that part is not like we don't get that part. So I think, yeah. And I'm not saying that it should be the same. I'm saying that because they're definitely sons and husbands. However, the way that you hold us accountable should look different than the way that you hold your son accountable. Shouldn't be yelling at, depending on what happens. Like, there shouldn't be yelling at your child. I'm going to whoop take your pants off because your butt belongs to me. Like, you shouldn't be talking to your.
Okay. Kels, I'm gonna ask you this and then we can button it up and I'll move on. I wanted to know, because you are in a position at your college where you get to see men coming into manhood. They're coming out of high school in a lot of instances. This is their first out there on their own. What have you observed as far as men coming into their own and how that works for that age range? Because grown men are grown men, and a lot of times that just is what they are. Their life is what it is. They've experienced some stuff. What is that like at that beginning stage for you on the outside?
Honestly, and I'm trying to remember at each college I've been with, most boys that are coming into college as freshmen are not men. They are nowhere near it. And mainly because their mothers won't let them be. I cannot count how many times I've had a mother, auntie, grandmother pull me to the side and say, "Can you please check on my son, grandson, nephew?" I mean, it is. I'm trying to think. Maybe, one or two that I've seen kind of mature, because I probably had them in class and know them a little bit more. But coming in, it is crazy how little they do know. And it's not a bunch of, not even like not even trying to be masculine or manly or anything. They're still children. So I don't think there's not any line, especially at Southwestern Christian. I teach at a Christian, work at a Christian institution. So, that rah man is not celebrated.
Yeah.
The more spiritual, kind, sensitive guy is what is the norm on my campus. So I don't see much, machismo where I am, but I rarely see. They're still very much young.
Okay. It's almost it's not even to the point of being influenced yet. We still figuring out what I even want to be influenced by. Okay. That's fair. Very fair.
Very much so.
Let me ask Kels this question.
Yeah.
In dating, how does this, so as you're dating, how do you like this whole masculine, like, are you looking for a certain, like, I want to say, like, are you looking for alpha males? Like, are you looking for a certain type of, like, is there, because I think we were talking about earlier is how some of this is done for the sake of women. When you're dating, like, are you looking for a certain type of man? Are women looking for a certain type of man? Or is it like, I'm just looking for the nice guy that I think is cute or whatever? Like, what's the...
Personally, I look for more of the alpha type. I don't think I've ever, well, I'm going to say I don't think I've ever, but I don't find myself wishing for a non-alpha male. I'll put it that way. I do find it attractive, a man that I can feel secure with. And sometimes that does look like very masculine because you think you want somebody that's going to feeling secure includes protection and just being able to solve problems. Like I say before, I think my dad is Superman. So I think I kind of look for those qualities. You know, I feel like I could put my life in his hands. So yeah, I probably do look for a more masculine guy. Yeah, I want the reform thug.
Right.
Right.
The romantic thug.
That's what we want.
Very good. Very good. Awesome conversation, family. Awesome conversation. I hope that those watching and listening were able to learn a lot and enjoy that conversation. I'm pretty sure we will not end it here. We will continue to have these conversations, and we encourage them. So with that being said, we are going to slide right on into Sass and Sage. And I kind of want to put a pin in what we've discussed over the past 2 weeks specifically. Last week we covered moms and daughters. This week we're discussing manhood and what it looks like. And at the root of all of this, I think we have a lot of the battle of the sexes happening. So today, Sass and Sage, we're going to talk about the battle of the sexes and who really wins. I'm pretty sure we're all old enough to have heard of the battle of the sexes. It's one of those rare subjects that has managed to provide enough materials to make many comedians very rich, many authors bestsellers, and I'm positive help to occupy the couches of marriage counselors all over the world. But I can't help but reflect on the conversations we've been having over the past few weeks without recognizing that we may have fallen for the okie doke, y'all. Like, I really think we've fallen for it. Similar to the whole diamonds are the superior stone and the only proper way to profess love and propose forever. Yeah, that okie doke. The more men and women I meet, the more children I love on and learn from, the more I realize we are much more alike than we are different. We are without question wired differently, but I think we've been really working backwards at how we go about dealing with and adapting to those differences. Being wired different doesn't mean you can't occupy the same machine. Okay. Being wired different doesn't mean you cannot occupy the same machine. If you've ever taken anything with the plug or battery apart, even just a little bit, you've seen many different wires, often going in many different directions, but all very, very necessary to make the machine work properly. One wire isn't necessarily more important than the other, because if you lose any of those wires or one becomes damaged, the result is always the same. The machine stops working. It's done. Your machine may be a relationship, a marriage, a work partnership, or a friendship, but without all of the wires, you don't get action. I think it's time we begin to see what the other wires within our machines are designed to do and why. What do they need to stay in excellent working condition for the machine to work? How invested are you and how well your machines work? That's something that I think we don't really discuss a whole lot. We say that we want these wonderful things. We say what someone should be willing to do to help us attain the wonderful things that we have for ourselves. We always are so willing to discuss how someone else is supposed to be selfless in pursuit of loving us. But we rarely discuss or want to highlight how we get to be selfless, and look into what's necessary to make someone else work. To the point we're starting to even highlight and publicize not wanting to be the happy for someone else, or not desiring to be the source of some type of happy or joy for someone that we say we love. I think we should be really, really mindful of how we go with that trend of not wanting to provide joy for people that we love. That's not as weak as some of our popular voices seem to make that out to be. That's not as less than, you have to say you got to be a whole happy person before you can be a whole happy person in a relationship. Yes, that is true, but you cannot turn off the desire to provide joy for the people that you love. My 2 cents on that. Next thing, women are from Earth and so are men. Mars and Venus are both uninhabited, homies. There are no humans on either of those planets. Stop falling for that. Let's be real, y'all. Aside from Independence Day and Men in Black, how excited has anyone ever really been to communicate and coexist with an alien? Like, really? How excited are we? Hell, we are having whole wars with humans who are literally just live on different pieces of land than we do. So when we drill anecdotes into our minds about men being from Mars and women being from Venus, that subconsciously sets us up to not want to hear what our spouses are saying, what our coworkers are saying, what our partners are saying, that we are just interacting with day to day to do life. Okay. So much so we've got it in our minds that we are like from different planets. We don't have any desire to speak to learn how the others are really working. We don't want to learn love languages. We don't want to love English versus Spanish. We have no desire. Okay. So let's just be real and say that the whole alien thing sounds good. Outcast and Erykah Badu got us feeling like aliens are the thing to be. It sounds sexy. It makes us feel special. It looks real cute when we hashtag it, and the emoji is dope. But let's be cool. Let's be real about it. Being alienate, what we're doing is alienating ourselves from the things that we really, really need. Each other, conversations, interactions, compassion, real depth relationships, people who get us. Okay, that does take time. That does take effort. But the reward is so much more worth it than just claiming you about that alien life. That's not really all that fun. All right. So just about every productive adult I know has said in one way or another, I want to be better than my parents were. If you're a parent, I will go out on a very thin limb and say that you are probably trying your best to prep your kids to be better than you are. I hope so. I can't honestly think of a better place to begin than with how you have been taught to love and relate to one another. We all have a need to be seen, understood, respected, and valued for our individuality. Our experiences counted as necessary and meaningful. None of us want to feel discarded. No one wants to be seen as fake or unworthy. And no, I'm not living in a fairy tale where all of us are prime specimen for the picking. But what I am saying is that at some point we all had to begin, and it was much easier for all of us when we had someone there willing to see us where we are as who we are and willing to help us to become our best selves, whoever that may end up being. Nothing weak in that. It's natural. It is, in fact, what we are designed for. We have undoubtedly taken the "you complete me" saying to the extremes, but we cannot deny that it is rooted in how we're designed. That when we're paired with the right person, the most whole people can feel a tad bit more when loved as is. I hope these conversations and those and those to come help us to be more open to the experiences that shape us, the dreams that wake us, and the love that warms us, free of the fear of judgment and unworthiness of what society thinks is going to do, what society thinks of us, what our group of peers is going to think of us, what our bosses, co-workers, people we'll never meet are going to think of us, because this battle is going to need us all to make it. It sounds cliche, but in my opinion, humanity could really use a hug. But you can start right here at home. If hugging isn't your thing, a genuine, hey, how you doing, will be a really, really good start. It'll do just fine. So I encourage you all to be open, to be peace, to be light, and be a little bit more loving as you go on this next week. This has been Sass and Sage with Q Willis. I hope you enjoyed. Have a good week. That's all.
Sass and Sage.
Yeah.
Your snaps got feedback, Lynn.
You said what?
I said your snaps got feedback.
Right.
All right. I guess it's time to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Kels, you up first.
Okay, well, first of all, I really like the Sass and Sage tonight about, I thought the quote, women are from Earth and men are too, was really good. And you really have to take that into account. I thought it was very good tonight, and I enjoyed that, Miss Willis.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah, you are on the live. You see the flyer for the Curvy and Killing It fashion show with the guest host Bianca Golden, ANTM America's Next Top Model alum. We are looking forward to that. She is awesome, and I can't wait for her to get to the city. She actually knew a player from the Thunder, so she's familiar with Oklahoma City. So we've had a couple of conversations, so it's going to be awesome. So get your tickets. Tickets are selling. If you can also be a vendor, if you have any, if you're selling anything other than clothing, you can be a vendor. And yes, May 19th, 2019. Hope to see you guys there. Also, if you're in Oklahoma City and familiar with Guiding Right, the oh my God, I can't remember if it's this HIV awareness, but I think it's sexual education too. The agency that handles all of that here in the metro, they are having their annual fashion show on Saturday. Kirby Kid will be a part, and Back to My Roots. So make sure if you're in the area, come out and see us this Saturday night. I believe it starts at 8 p.m. at Metro Tech. So have a good week. Be productive.
Mm-hmm. I don't have anything special happening. I'm going to shout out Lakita and say that if you are looking for something to do this Sunday, let me go to my page real quick. I can pull up the event. Lakita with Back to My Roots Clothing is hosting an event on this Sunday, March 31st at the Art Craft Love Creative Space, 5520 East Reno Avenue in Del City, 73117. This is her Let's Rap event. It is head wraps, food wraps with a dope inspirational message. She's got a awesome speaker coming out. She's going to have head wraps. She's going to have a good time, fellowship. So come on out, ladies. We're going to have a really, really, really good time. You can search Let's Rap on Facebook, and you can find the event and purchase your tickets. But come on out. It's from 12 to 3 on Sunday at Art Craft Love Space. That's all. Right.
And congratulations, Lakita, on the new location.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Yes. So excited.
Yeah. Good show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you to all of the people who tuned in. I don't know what in God's earth is going on with this noise. We're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So thank y'all I appreciate your patience. We appreciate y'all for tuning in and joining us tonight. Yeah. Great show tonight as always. Great feedback. Thank you for the comments. The only thing I have is, of course, don't forget the conference coming up, Level Up Conference. Excuse me, August 9th, 10th, and 11th. Get your tickets again by going to levelupchicago.com. We're talking about faith, family, and finance. All of our speakers have now been picked except for one. So make sure you guys are going to enjoy it. So we're talking everything from marriage to divorce to singles to how to start your business to how to become more profitable to how you can become a better person for your community. Plus, we got a whole bunch of fun things that are going to be happening. So definitely register again. By the end of this month, this is going to be the end of when you can get payment plans. So do it by the end of this month. LevelUpChicago.com. Vendors, we're looking for vendors. So if you are a business owner and you are looking and you want to be a vendor, we definitely want you to be a part. So definitely come out and go to the website again, levelupchicago.com. Go under registration. You'll see the vendor application. Give you all the information you need. If you have questions after you read the application and information, you can see myself or Q. We'll be more than happy to help you out. But we're going to have 30 vendors. So please don't wait till the last minute and think you're still in a good spot, because you probably won't. But registration, vendors, get on those ASAP. Last but definitely not least, I want to say thank you to everybody who came to the masquerade ball.
Oh,
It was
yes.
off the chain. Had a
We have
great time. Oklahoma City's always fun. So yeah, if you missed the videos and pictures, y'all check them out. If you still have videos and pictures that you haven't posted, post them and tag me so I can put them in our archives. I like to look at. We had a good time, y'all. Let me say this to y'all. Soapbox moment. Here's my soapbox. I am clearly aware that I'm a pastor. It's never been something that I'm worried about. I know that. Why do y'all keep asking me questions like, as a pastor, why do I have to throw a masquerade ball?
What? You were asked
I
what?
like to go to masquerade balls. Like,
they want you to throw a scoop revival.
every year,
We supposed to have a scoop revival.
I get phone calls and emails asking, oh my God, I can't, but you're a pastor. I'm aware of that. And guess what? I didn't go to church Sunday the next day either. But
Oh Lord, you about to get us struck.
it's okay. I promise. I got credit.
You got credit.
I got credit.
I won't dispute. You probably got way more credit than most of us.
Right.
He's paid it all.
It's okay to enjoy yourself and have some fun. It was fun. It wasn't anything derogatory. Like not, and even again, I danced. Come on, y'all, for real. Do better. Like, let's not make a thing out of something that's not a thing. I get it. I get that people are not used to it. And if you're a pastor or a church leader, I encourage you to go to things like that because, again, you need to let off some steam. You need to have fun. There is nothing about being a ministry that says you cannot have fun. So y'all relax. Everybody take a pill. It's okay. We had a great time. We're going to have another one next year. So it'll be another opportunity for you to feel uncomfortable. But I'm free. So it's okay. You too. I invite you to be free with me. The tickets are only $40. You can
yes. Shameless pre-plug.
It's every year I get them.
He does.
Don't worry. In Chicago at the Level Up Conference, I'm a dance too.
Come see for yourself. Don't talk about it. Be about it.
Come level up with the panda. We're gonna do the little routine and everything. Level up.
Right. So everybody gets you. It's all good. Promise. It's all good.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, I had a good time. I had a blast. Again, thank y'all, Kels Q, Thais put that together. She was phenomenal. Thank you, Thais. I appreciate you.
Yes.
You heard the Level Up commercial earlier. That was LaGayla. Awesome commercial. Thank you. Asia Blue, you were a wonderful host. Felicia Irwin did the decorations. She did a phenomenal job. Corey Young of Forever Young Photography took the pictures. That's my boy. He, as always, did a phenomenal job. Everybody across the board did a great job. So I appreciate it. And looking forward to the next one. So y'all register for this conference so we can fill up these seats. All 300 of them I need to sold out. So y'all start doing that tomorrow for me so we can get this. Because I know we're going to have a good time. So yeah, I definitely want you to be there. But other than that, y'all have a good night. Have a really good night. Enjoy the rest of the week. If you have any questions, please let us know. Please, if you're watching on live Facebook, hit the share button. Keep putting your comments. We'll keep watching them and keep responding. But y'all, we're gonna have a good time. We're going to continue to level up. We're going to continue to grow, get better, get bigger. We're going to continue to change the generation by raising the conversation, because that's what we do. Y'all be sure to tune in to The Word on Wednesday tomorrow at 7 o'clock.